What's going on, currency lovers? Let's get to another bill search video. Starting right off with a series 2017 $10 note, really close to a broken ladder. If we would have had a 1 or a 9 instead of one of those 4s, we would have had, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's something to keep an eye out for, is broken ladder bills. This one, unfortunately, is not one. But nevertheless, still a really good looking note. A little bit of damage in the upper left corner. I like to also look at the seals and the serial numbers, see if there's anything misprinted in them, like shifts or ink smears, stuff like that. As you know, in the 2017 and 2013 series of US banknotes, it's very common to see an over ink on generally the second or third digit from the left on either serial number. Nothing crazy jumping out here. Let's go to the back. And nothing but a nice depiction of the U.S. Treasury. Passed by the U.S. Treasury, didn't get an entire... we kind of toured around it, but didn't get to do the full tour on the inside of it during my visit to Washington. We are planning a big visit to D.C. in the beginning of next year, so I would love for, hopefully, the whole community here to be able to meet there, at least the ones that can, and go on tours together of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, the Treasury, and then just any of the buildings of the Capitol. But primarily ones that would have to do with U.S. currency. On to the next bill, Series 2013 $5 note. Really beat up, super folded up and creased up. Nice writing right here. Somebody got to 2 5s and was like, hey, I'm going to write 10 here, so I remember that I counted 2 $5 bills. Nothing on the front there. I didn't see any shifting, any ink smears, any issues, or any fancy serial numbers. Back of the note, lots of damage to be expected as after looking at the front, but nothing there. Other things you can look for on $5 notes, although the graphics are impeccable as far as actual detail, sometimes you can see some blurring around Lincoln there, as well as these pylons that sit in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And then you can also see some blurring around the repetitive 05s that make up the Orion constellation printed on the back of U.S. notes. If you're interested in the different parts of U.S. notes and anti-counterfeiting measures, then definitely check out my other video called Anti-Counterfeiting... I can't talk today. Anti-Counterfeiting Measures of U.S. Banknotes. There we go. I knew it. I could do it. On to the next one. Series 2017 $1 note. Good repetition of 9s and 7s. But unfortunately, nothing to call a repeater note or a block repeater. If things were pushed together, 7s and 9s, and then we kind of omitted the rest of it, I had a really nice note emailed to me that was all 6s and 5s. Definitely a repeater note. And these ones were clumped together in the picture they sent me. So 5s, 4 5s, 4 6s. In the serial number, that would be known as a block repeater. So really good fancy serial number find. That was from a girl named Jen. I really appreciate the email. Please send me more emails. I love to see other people's finds for coins and banknotes. Not as damaged on the front of this one. Nothing jumping out at me. Let's go to the back. And nothing too crazy. I like to check out around the front and back of the U.S. seal that's printed on the back of $1 notes. There's really nice detail to it. You can also find some errors, especially around the repetitive depictions of the number 13, like the stripes, the stars, the leaves on the oak cluster, the arrows, stuff like that. So look for those. Nothing there, though. Series 2013 also. Washington's almost got like a messed up one eye thing going on. Nothing. A little bit of shift in this seal over, and you'll see that coincide with the serial numbers. They'll sit slightly to the left, like this seal is. But it's only a little bit off. The edge of the seal for the Department of the Treasury seal on the right-hand side of a note, well, dollar banknote, is it should touch this little chevron that makes the center of the E. And a little bit of blurring in those letters for reserve note, but that's pretty common. And nothing crazy jumping out on the back. A little bit of wet ink transfer from the bill that sat below this one on the stack. There we go. Nice little star note. Almost a repeater star note. I wish these, we're not getting luck lately in fancy serial numbers too much. But I have found quite a few star notes, so I'm definitely excited about that. A little bit of writing on this, but it's in pencil, so that's not too big of a deal. 2006 series, we don't see those as often. You can see that, and I'll pull this old note we just went by. 2013 and 2006 look identical. Only difference here is going to be the Treasury and the Treasurer and Secretary of Treasury signatures on the notes. Aside from that, they have not changed anything with $1 notes in quite some time. Star notes are really great. I love star notes. I collect them. I know a lot of people that collect star notes. Some are a little more choosy than others on which ones they like to hold on to. But I hold on to pretty much every one of them. And then at one point or another during the year, I will put them back out into circulation. Nothing nuts going on the back of that note, but I'm going to set it aside for that star note. Series 2013 $1 note. So a lot of 2013 series notes in this bill search, as to be expected. It was a huge print run, so 2013, 2017, really common. And nothing jumping out in the serial number. We haven't even seen a lot of date notes lately, so hopefully you share a few of those to me. I am itching to see some better finds than what I'm getting, but I'll take what I can get. Other than that, really beat up, nothing jumping out on the front. At first, I thought there was a little bit of an ink smear going on with this leaf, but that's actually printed appropriately. Back of the note. Nothing there. 2013 series, $20 note. Little bit of kind of ink stippling going on where excess ink was laid down. Most likely an excess ink transfer. So like when the bills are still wet and they're stacked atop one of another when they get cut from the sheet, a little bit of ink transfers from one to the other sometimes. Now, if it obscures another portion of the bill that sits below or above this bill, then that would be an error. So if like the wet ink from the depiction of Jackson here were to be overlaid in, for example, that's how you get, let me see if I can find one. It's a bad example. Let me see. Here we go. So this one's really faint, but you can see a little bit of wet ink transfer. As you guys know, in a lot of videos, we've seen a ton of it where you can see almost the whole outline of Washington on the back of the next $1 note. So those are things to keep an eye out for. It's a type of misprint, but I wouldn't say it's a total misprint. Misprints in general are ones that are actual printed portions of that note that are misprinted. It's more of an ink error. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that. Moving on, nothing really crazy going on, no shifts in the seals. Let's look at the back of the note. Once again, check up by all these repetitive 20s, in this case on a $20 banknote. Depiction of the White House, definitely really cool. We toured by that, although you can't really access as much stuff as you want to in DC right now. You have to make appointments or you just simply can't see them. And we kind of popped in for a day and a half, thinking we'd be able to just kind of go around and look at things as normal, which is pretty naive of us. But we still had a wonderful time checking out the city. Little bit of stray ink going on right here, but we know we see that a lot. Going on to the next note. Almost knocked my coffee over. Series 2017 $1 note. Shifting this seal a little bit. But nothing crazy. Nothing in the serial numbers and a little bit damaged where it's been folded in the middle. Going on to the back of the note. Nothing jumping out. $5 banknote from Series 2013. Nothing crazy on the front. No misprints. Pretty good shape overall. A little bit of damage here. A little bit of damage here. A little bit of damage there. And if you see now, this is a good example of that wet ink transfer, but in this case, this bill's kind of thinned out from being wet, so it might be a wet ink transfer from a 5 that sat below this one, or it might just simply be this seal kind of pressing through due to the wet damage to this bill at one point. Kind of throws an ode to how bills are printed in a 3-phase printing process where portions of the note are printed on the note, some are printed in the note. So that also explains why you'll see notes that the whole thing's really faded, but the seals and serial numbers come up because, in essence, those are the most important part of the note. It tracks them. Next note, Series 2013 $10 bill. A little bit of a crease here where it looks like a strap set on this note. Damage right here, so if it was collectible, that would definitely detract from value, but I don't see anything crazy jumping out from there. And last but not least, another $10 note, Series 2013 as well. Really beat up, so it's been in a lot of hands, a lot of wallets. It'd be interesting to see what all the purchase, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know what the purchases were for this $10 note, but it'd be interesting, just like where'sgeorge.com, to see where this note's been, if it's traveled across the country, and it's just kind of interesting to me to see, to kind of think about that. What things has this bill seen, and all that stuff in the years of its life, especially when you come across really old notes. That's just a fun thing to think about. I love going to Where's George and inputting my especially $1 notes, but bills in general. Nothing crazy that we've come across in this bill search, but I do love me some star notes. We came across a nice $1 from Series 2016 star note, so a great U.S. banknote replacement note to hold on to. This one's not too crazy. I might throw it back into circulation soon, but until then, I will hold on to it along with all my other star notes. But in the meantime, let me know what you've come across in your bill and coin searches lately in the comments below. I will see you there, and I will see you in the next video.